Picture this, a bustling courtroom in Atlanta, Georgia, where the air hums with the weight of law and the chatter of anticipation. It's just another Tuesday morning, until it isn't. Sergeant Ryan Carter, a clean-cut cop with a badge polished by years of unchecked power, storms up to a quiet black woman in a navy blazer, his hand cracking through the silence with a slap that echoes off the oak-paneled walls. Gasps ripple through the room, attorneys freeze mid-shuffle, a clerk's pen clatters to the floor, and the kid in the defendant's chair blinks like he's just woken up from a dream. Carter smirks, thinking he's flexed his usual muscle, another day of keeping order in his world. What he doesn't know. That woman isn't some random bystander caught in his crosshairs. She's Judge Sophia Evans, 55, the first black woman to rule Atlanta's highest bench, and in 4 minutes flat, his empire of arrogance is about to start crumbling. This isn't just a slap, it's the match that lights a fire nobody saw coming. Sophia doesn't flinch, doesn't scream, she just turns, her sharp hazel eyes locking onto Carter like a hawk spotting prey, and the room holds its breath. In that split second, you can feel it, this isn't going to end quietly. Stick around, because this twist will hit you like a freight train. Drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is there, we're reading every one. Sophia Evans wasn't born with a gavel in her hand, she earned it, piece by gritty piece, over 25 years in Atlanta's legal trenches. At 55, she carries the kind of quiet authority that doesn't need a megaphone, her salt and pepper hair swept into a no-nonsense bun, her hazel eyes catching every sidelong glance or half-hidden sneer. This morning, she strides into the Fulton County Courthouse, a red-brick beast of justice that stood since the 60s, its halls lined with echoes of cases won and lost. She's been here before, first as a defense attorney, scrapping for clients who couldn't afford a decent suit, then as a prosecutor, rooting out corruption with a tenacity that made enemies sweat. Now, as a judge, she's a trailblazer who still feels the sting of being the first. Atlanta's a city of contrasts, gleaming skyscrapers tower over shotgun houses, progress wrestling with old scars, and Sophia knows it too well. She grew up in Vine City, where ambition was a luxury, but she clawed her way to Emory Law on scholarships and sheer will. That Tuesday, she nods to the security guards, some tip their caps, others just stare, as she heads for her chambers, her mind already flipping through the day's lineup, a petty vandalism case, a teenage defendant, nothing heavy. But there's a prickle at the back of her neck, a gut feeling honed by decades of reading rooms. The clerk greets her with a nervous twitch. "Morning, Judge Evans." Carter's already in there, Sergeant Ryan Carter, the arresting officer. Sophia's lips press thin. She knows that name, too many reports, too many whispers. Trouble's brewing, and she's walking right into it. The courtroom hums with low chatter as Sophia Evans slips in, her blazer crisp but her robe still folded in her chambers, she's not on the clock yet. At the prosecution table, Sergeant Ryan Carter stands like he owns the place, arms folded, jaw set, his buzz-cut head gleaming under the lights. The teenage defendant, a wiry kid with a faded hoodie, fidgets beside his overworked public defender, eyes darting like a trapped rabbit. Carter doesn't even glance at Sophia as she moves to a side table, flipping open a case file. "Let's move it, I've got places to be," he snaps at the clerk, his voice bouncing off the high ceilings. Sophia's head tilts slightly. "I'd suggest you make the time," she says, cool as a winter breeze. Carter spins, sizing her up, brown skin, no badge, no robe, and his smirk says he's already dismissed her. "You with the defense or what?" he tosses out, dripping with condescension. Sophia doesn't bite, just keeps her eyes on the file, but Carter's not done. He stomps over, boots thudding, and leans in close. "Hey, I'm talking to you," and then it happens, his hand flies up, a sharp slap cracking across her cheek. The room jolts, a lawyer gasps, a journalist's coffee teeters, and the kid at the table freezes, mouth agape. Carter steps back, almost startled by his own swing, but there's no regret in his eyes, just a flicker of smug triumph. "Learn some manners," he mutters, loud enough for the back row to hear. Sophia doesn't touch her stinging cheek. She turns slowly, her gaze pinning him like a spotlight, and the air shifts, thick, electric. A clerk stammers, she's not robed yet, but Carter's too busy flexing to notice the dawning horror around him. He's just lit a fuse he can't snuff out, and Sophia's silence is the loudest warning he'll never hear. The sting on Sophia Evans' cheek fades to a dull throb, but her hazel eyes don't waver, they bore into Sergeant Ryan Carter like twin lasers cutting through steel. The courtroom's stunned silence stretches tight, every breath held as Carter squares his shoulders, trying to shrug off the weight of his mistake. "What's your deal?" he snaps, voice edged with bravado. Sophia steps forward, deliberate, her low heels clicking against the hardwood. "Is this how you address the court, Sergeant?" she asks, her tone icy enough to frost the windows. Carter blinks, confusion rippling across his face, then defiance. "You're not the court, you're just some." She cuts him off, climbing the platform to the bench, her movements smooth and unshaken. As she turns to face him from above, the room feels the shift. Carter's a statue caught mid-breath, the clerk's hands hover over her notes, and a journalist's pen trembles. "Did you just strike me?" Sophia's voice slices through, calm but lethal. Carter's mouth flaps open, then shuts, his tongue darting like a cornered snake. "I didn't know, I mean, you weren't, yes or no," she presses, unrelenting. He shifts, glancing at the other cops in the back, stone-faced, no backup there. "You came at me," he mutters, weak. Sophia's lips curve, not a smile but a blade. "If I were a white man in this seat, would you have swung?" The question lands like a punch, and Carter's silence screams louder than any excuse. "That's a no," she says, her voice dropping to a steel whisper. "You assaulted a judge, ignorance isn't a shield." Carter puffs up, desperate. "You're blowing this up, I was doing my job." Sophia's gavel slams once, sharp and final. "Your job doesn't include hitting me." "Clerk, note that Sergeant Carter has admitted to the assault on record." The room tightens, cameras roll, and Carter's empire starts to crack. Sergeant Ryan Carter stands rigid as the courtroom tilts against him, the echo of Sophia Evans' gavel still ringing in the air. Her hazel eyes don't flinch from the bench, pinning him like a specimen under glass. "Officer Davis," she calls to the bailiff, a stocky man with a buzz cut and a no-nonsense stare, "detain Sergeant Carter, professional courtesy, no cuffs yet, but he doesn't leave this room." Davis nods, stepping forward with a hand hovering near his belt, while Carter's face flushes crimson. "This is insane," he barks, chest heaving. "I didn't know who you were." Sophia leans forward slightly. "And yet you knew enough to hit me." The gallery buzzes, phones light up, a junior attorney whispers to a colleague, and the teenage defendant watches wide-eyed as Carter's swagger crumbles. "You're turning this into a circus," he shouts, pointing a shaky finger at the kid. "That punk's the real problem, caught him tagging up half the block." Sophia's voice cuts through like a whip. "You don't justify breaking the law by blaming a child. Sit down." Carter staggers back, caught off guard as Davis guides him toward a side door, his boots dragging like they're stuck in mud. The clerk scribbles furiously, logging every word, every flinch. Sophia turns to the room, her tone steady but thunderous. "What you just saw isn't a one-off, it's a symptom. An officer assaulted a judge in broad daylight, and it's on camera, on record, for all of you to witness. If the law bends here, it breaks everywhere." A journalist in the back nods furiously, typing away, while Carter's last glare burns out as the door shuts behind him. The reckoning's begun, and it's only been 4 minutes. The courtroom doors slam shut behind Sergeant Ryan Carter, leaving a charged hush in their wake, but Judge Sophia Evans doesn't linger on the victory. She steps into her chambers, the faint red mark on her cheek a quiet badge of the day's chaos. Her phone's already blinking, 2 voicemails, one from the Atlanta PD's chief, another from Internal Affairs. She ignores them, peeling off her blazer as the hum of the courthouse grows outside, clerks whispering, reporters circling. But then her cell buzzes, an unknown number, a text that stops her cold. Nice place in Decatur, your niece still walk home alone? Her pulse skips, fingers tightening around the phone. Across town, Carter's in a holding room, pacing like a caged wolf, when a shadow slips through the precinct's back halls. A suit, gray, nondescript, drops a burner phone on the table. Make her feel the heat, the man says, voice flat, then vanishes. Carter's jaw clenches, he knows this game, someone's pulling strings to keep him afloat. Meanwhile, Sophia's bailiff, Mike Torres, knocks briskly and steps in, his broad frame tense. Carter's union's already on it, calling in favors, he warns. Sophia nods, pulling a legal pad from her desk. They're too late, this isn't slipping away. She starts writing, incident, assault, witnesses, 12, cameras, active, Carter's record, 7 complaints. The threats don't stop at texts. By dusk, a grainy photo lands in her mailbox, no sender, just her niece, 14, strolling down a quiet street, oblivious. Sophia's chest tightens, but her resolve hardens. This isn't just about her anymore, it's a war on her family, her fight, her city. She dials Torres. Get my niece off the street, now. The system's claws are out, and they're sharp, but Sophia's ready to cut deeper. In the dim light of her chambers, Judge Sophia Evans sits with Internal Affairs agents Laura Hayes and Miguel Ortiz, a stack of files spilling across her desk like a crime scene. It's past midnight, coffee cups littering the room, when Hayes slides a faded report under Sophia's nose. From 2018, she says, voice low. Carter beat a kid senseless, body cam lost, case buried by ADA James Porter. Sophia's eyes narrow, flipping to the signature, Porter, the slick prosecutor who's dodged her courtroom too many times. Ortiz taps another page. And this, Judge Henry Dawson signed off on dismissing it, called it insufficient evidence. Sophia's breath catches, Dawson, her old mentor, now a ghost in her fight. The web spins wider. Hayes pulls a thumb drive, plugging it into her tablet. Grainy audio crackles, Carter's voice, smug in a locker room 2 years back. Evans thinks she's untouchable, let her try me. I've got friends higher than her bench. A second voice, unconfirmed, but Ortiz bets it's Porter, laughs along. Sophia's pen scratches faster, Carter, Porter, Dawson, collusion, as the pieces lock into place. There's more, Hayes adds, dropping a bank slip. 10 grand from a police fund, funneled to a legal defense account, Carter's name's all over it. Sophia leans back, the room spinning with the weight of it, this isn't one bad cop, it's a machine. By dawn, they've got a list, 15 cases Carter touched, 8 buried complaints, 3 prosecutors with dirty hands. Sophia's voice is steel. I want every file pulled, every name exposed. Hayes nods, her jaw tight. This goes up to the DA's office, and beyond. Ortiz glances at the photo of Sophia's niece, still on the desk. They're scared, you're cracking their foundation. Sophia's eyes burn. Good. Let it fall. The Fulton County Courthouse buzzes like a kicked hive as Judge Sophia Evans steps into the main chamber, flanked by Agent Laura Hayes and bailiff Mike Torres. No robe today, just a black blazer, her stance radiating fight. Across the room, ADA James Porter stands with a state ethics rep, Elliot Kane, a smug kid in a gray suit who smells like a fixer. Judge Evans, Kane starts, voice clipped, we're here to process your recusal request, procedural concerns. Sophia's gaze is ice. I'm stepping off Carter's case, not because I'm compromised, but because I won't let this rot fester in silence. She turns to the press, a sea of lenses and notepads, and drops the bomb. I'm calling for a federal monitor to audit every case Sergeant Ryan Carter touched, and every hand that shielded him. The room erupts, murmurs, gasps, shutters snapping. Porter steps up, pale but defiant. "This isn't the place for wild accusations, Judge." Sophia slides a file across the table, Hayes opening it wide. 5 complaints, Porter's signature, Dawson's dismissals. "You buried Carter's dirt 5 times, she says, voice cutting through the chaos. Pressured pleas from kids with no lawyers. That's not procedure, that's a payoff." Porter stammers, but Hayes drops another blow, a bank transfer, $10,000 from a police fund to Carter's defense, routed through a shell company Porter greenlit. "You signed the contract," she says coolly. The gallery explodes, shouts, flashes, Kane scrambling to retreat. Sophia faces the crowd. "This city's hidden behind badges and gavels too long, I'm tearing the curtain down." Threats be damned, she's not backing off now. Sergeant Ryan Carter's borrowed sedan idles in a deserted Atlanta parking garage, his knuckles white on the wheel. A duffel bag sits heavy in the passenger seat, cash, a burner phone, a Glock he shouldn't have. The photo he sent Judge Sophia Evans, her niece on a Decatur sidewalk, was supposed to scare her quiet, but now the air crackles with his own panic. His burner buzzes, "You're done, get out." No name, just orders from a shadow he's trusted too long. He steps out, gun in hand, when a voice slices through the gloom, "Sergeant Carter." 4 U.S. Marshals emerge, weapons steady, badges glinting. "Drop it, now." His bluff's gone, he sinks to the concrete, cuffed and hollow. Back at the courthouse, Sophia gets the call at 3:14 p.m., Carter in custody, unarmed, no fight. She nods, but her focus shifts to the fallout. ADA James Porter's resignation hits the wires by noon, a sweaty exit under personal reasons. Judge Henry Dawson's suspension lands an hour later, his office sealed by feds. 2 precinct captains are axed, 3 cops flip for deals, and the unnamed suit who fed Carter's threats vanishes like smoke. The press swarms, headlines screaming, "Atlanta PD rocked by corruption bust." Agent Miguel Ortiz slides a folder to Sophia. "Carter's talking, named Porter, Dawson, even a council member." Sophia's hazel eyes scan the list, her pen circling names. "This isn't the end," she says, voice low. Laura Hayes nods. "It's the start, feds are cracking open a decade of dirt." Outside, protesters chant, signs bobbing, "No more boons." Carter's empire's dust now, but Sophia knows the real war's just begun. 2 months later, Atlanta's courthouse steps swarm with life, reporters jostling, protesters waving signs like, "Justice starts here," and survivors clutching faded photos of loved ones wronged by a broken system. Inside, Judge Sophia Evans stands in her chambers, no robe, just a charcoal blouse and a tired but fierce resolve. Agent Laura Hayes hands her a sheet, 12 names, cops, prosecutors, a council member, even Judge Henry Dawson, indicted or flipped. "Carter's singing loud," Hayes says. "State's auditing 140 old cases now." Sophia exhales, the weight of it sinking in, her slap sparked a tidal wave. That afternoon, she faces the state judiciary board, cameras flashing as she drops her final play. "I'm resigning," she says, voice steady through the gasps. "Not because I'm done, but because this fire needs fresh hands to carry it." A board member protests, "You could lead this reform." Sophia shakes her head. "It's not about me, it's about momentum." Later, at her Decatur home, she sits on the porch, her niece racing up on a bike. "Aunt Sophia," the girl yells, crashing into a hug. "You made them scared on TV." Sophia laughs, soft and real. "I made them see, scared's up to them." The sun dips low, painting the street gold, and for once, the silence feels earned. This isn't just a cop's downfall, it's a mirror to a rotting machine, and Sophia Evans smashed it wide open. Her stand wasn't revenge, it was justice, raw and relentless, proving one voice can topple a tower. If this hit you deep, smash that like button, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe for more stories that cut through the noise. Thanks for sticking with us, see you in the next fight.